Hi everyone. Welcome to a Help Me Rhonda episode. We are on episode number 9, and a great question came through that I'm excited to tackle. And I definitely know a lot of different demonstrators that struggle with this challenge. First of all, welcome to a little different scenery. The sun is shining today, and so I am doing some of my computer work from upstairs instead of down in my craft room. So the question that came through, let me read it for you. It says, I love your Help Me Rhonda segments. Thank you. I'm so glad you do. I hope that they're helping anybody out there. And if you have other questions too, don't forget in this description is a link for you to be able to ask your questions, and then I will tackle them on a future episode. And I would love to know how to handle being away on travel. Hubby and I take month-long vacations, and it's hard to schedule classes on those months. So that's a great question. And I think a lot of us struggle with this, either just going on vacations, or we have what we call snowbirds that live like half the year in the west or the south, and then half the year in the north. We have people who, as we're getting older, some of us, we do like to travel more. I know, we also have trips with Stampin' Up. This also goes in place not just with travel, but also with things like surgeries. Like if you have a surgery, sometimes you have to take, weeks, if not months off, or even a loved one who has a surgery and you're taking care of them. So there are things all throughout our business that require maybe a lengthy time for us to not hold our normal schedule. So the first thing I want to say is that your customers love you for you, right? They are loyal to you. And so we need to make sure that we're always communicating with them. If you run a consistent business, that skeleton calendar, if you are dependable and you're showing up consistently, when you need to take time off, your customers will still support you. They will still be loyal to you, and they'll be there waiting for you when you get back. But if you're like on track to earn the incentive trip, or you want to earn the trip, or you just count on a specific monthly income, maybe to help cover expenses or for whatever reason, sometimes we just can't, and we shouldn't, just take a month off. So the biggest thing is to have that consistency beforehand, so that if and when you need to move things around or change things up a little bit, it doesn't have as big of an impact. And actually, your customers will come up behind you and support you when you need their support. So you show up for them, and they will show up for you. So let me give you some suggestions. First of all, if I'm going to ever be on a lengthy trip, now, it sounds like you go away for a whole month. That is a long one. And my question is, I have several training clients in Elite Mastermind that go away for maybe a month at a time, home for a month, gone for 2 months. They even have like 2 homes that they're working between. Personally, I have 2 homes here that I work between for different reasons, but it makes it challenging. If that's the case, maybe you can bring some of your work with you. Maybe you can find a local area that when you're there, you could actually maybe hold a class. I know I'll have to use an example. Bonnie Alexander is one of my training clients that has dealt with this for years. And just this past month, she was able to connect into a group, and they had a class. And she was there for a month and was still able to hold a class. And she used kits, so she didn't have to bring a whole bunch of stuff with her. So maybe look for ways that you can tap into like a local coffee shop, or a women's group, or if you're in a community where they get together. Another one I remember, one of my downline, Sandy, she did the same thing. She would be gone for a month, home for a month, gone for a month, home for a month, all throughout the winter season. And she established a crafting group there, so that when she went there, and it was in a community, and she ran huge classes there. And now I think it's a little bit easier. So one, see if that's a possibility that you can, maybe while you're gone, establish almost like a little bit of a new area to hold an event and hold classes. But we still want to service our people back home, right? So the biggest thing we do is that we have to have that skeleton calendar where we're consistent. We don't cancel anything. You just might have to move it around. Let me give you an example. I had to take 8 weeks off. That was a long time. And 6 weeks where I could not even go into my studio. So 6 weeks is a very long time. I planned when you know about it, and I'm assuming with your trips that you know about when they are happening. So when you know about it, then you can plan ahead. And that's exactly what I did. I planned ahead and held all my classes before I had to take that time off. So the ones that would have normally happened, the first 3 or 4 weeks, instead I held them beforehand. So yes, it made for it to be a little bit busier, a little bit crazier. I combined some of them together. So if I would typically hold 3 or 4 classes during that month, I did them ahead of time. I didn't have 3 or 4 days to do them ahead of time. So instead I did like a couple days, and I held 2 on one day and then maybe 2 on another. I also offer my classes to go. So I could still service those people to go. I just had to prep all of the packages before I was down and out for six weeks or gone for 6 weeks. Now the other thing I did was I got some help. So when the other 2 weeks, you can have people who will hold your classes for you. There's been several times, I can think of at least a dozen that I can think of during my time that I've been a demonstrator, where I've had a really good customer hold my class for me. When I would do clubs, I would let them run it without me. I would just prepare all the projects, prepare it for them, and then they would gather at one of the customers' houses. I have definitely had a really good downline go and hold my class for me when I wasn't able to be there. So where there is a will, there is a way. So it all depends on how determined you are to keep your business going. So my team member who ran my class for me, I still collected all the sales. It was still my class. It was still my creations. She just showed up and helped facilitate the class for me. And I just compensated her on the side for doing that. Another thing that I always do when I travel is I do an email sale. So I will email out a special. And I'll tell them, again, communication to your customers is very important. If you're not going to be around for a month, let them know what to expect. Let them know that maybe you will have pre-recorded some videos while you're gone, or you maybe have set some emails up to go out while you're gone. So you got to still service them consistently. You can just batch ahead of time and do things ahead of time. So you can still be selling to them all the whole time through email and video if you want to. So you can even hold classes for them as well. So you just have to plan ahead. Oops. But you could also just do a simple email sale, and that may be, okay, here is, my link to order. You can link an order right here while I'm gone. You're going to have, 1 week or 2 weeks to be able to purchase anything you want. When I get back into my studio, I will ship you out a gift package. Some of my favorite gift packages that I do are like 24 sheets of 6x6 paper, and I will use retired paper, or I'll take some of my 12x12 and cut it down. I send them 5 homemade cards, and usually a retired embellishment of some sort. So the value of that package is a good $20, $25. But for me, or for you who probably has quite a stash, it doesn't cost us anything. We're just cleaning out some of our old things and putting it into a home that is or a craft room that's going to love it and use it. So email sale while you're gone. And again, communication. Let your customers know that maybe you are going to be gone on a trip, but you still love them and you still appreciate them, and to watch the email. So depending on how long you're going to be gone for, that absolutely works. When I travel, I can still do marketing. I can still set up, emails while I'm gone. I can even do email work while I'm gone. I love to wake up a little bit earlier than my husband, get my cup of coffee, and go out and work for a couple hours. Actually, we both work from home, so sometimes we'll both be, sitting on our computers on vacation working for a couple hours, but I love to do that. So I do believe that you can absolutely still keep your business strong even when you travel. You do have to be communicate with your customers and let them know what your schedule is going to be like. Let them know what you'll be offering and what you'll be doing. You need to plan ahead and prepare ahead. It does make, the week or two before you leave a little more stressful. I'm going to be gone next week for an entire 8 days. And so this week, every video I'm doing 2. Every project that I'm making double. Every email that I'm sending, I'm copying it and scheduling it again. So I'm just doing double of everything at the same time. So that way I can have this week covered, and then my next week is covered. And then I'm also communicating, because I don't want my customers to think that if I'm on vacation, so yours sounds like you're traveling, it's not necessarily like a short-term vacation. So you can still communicate with them, post, keep your social media strong, use this time for marketing, and use this time for, doing all your designing before you leave, maybe taking the cards with you so you can, snap pictures and still show up for them. So those are my best suggestions. And again, getting help. Every time that I'm going to be gone for an extended period of time, again, it might be a trip. For me, it's been some surgeries that I've had to have, or I've had to move. Moving is where you don't have a craft room for 3 weeks. I didn't even have a craft room. So these times, you can't just let your business stop. You have to find a way to keep it going. And absolutely, I've relied on people to help me to either run my classes. I've had demonstrators help me design classes because my stuff has been packed away. So you can definitely make it work when you reach out for help. Keep yourself consistent ahead of time, because when you're consistent and you have a little blip, your customers totally understand. But when you're constantly in and out, back and in, it does do some damage to that customer relationship when they can show up for somebody that, is still there all the time for them. All right, great question. I hope I gave you some ideas that can help you keep your business going while you travel, or for any reason that you have to take time off of your business. Again, thanks for joining this Help Me Rhonda episode. If you have a question, just click the link in this description. There is a link for you to ask more questions. If you would love to have more support in your business, if you would love to have a community of support, there's over 600 people, demonstrators, that are looking to build and grow their business from every level. Ones that are in the top 10 of the company, the top 50, those who earn the incentive trip, they're just beginning from scratch, just building their YouTube channels, just starting classes, everywhere in between, in our Creating Success training program. We have a group where we support each other. And the biggest thing is weekly training. Every week, I will come to you with a topic that is timely, it's pertinent, it is based around your Stampin' Up business, and it's there to help and support you. So that link is also in this description, where you can join. We have different programs. We have a meeting planner program. We have a program that's just all creative and all classes for you to copy. And we have weekly training, and we also have a VIP group where you'll have the weekly training, you have quarterly online conventions, and you have a weekly Facebook Live with me to ask even more questions with one-on-one help. All right, thanks so much for being here. I'll see you on the next episode.